Thank you.
Hey, yeah, we are, Serena. Thank you so much. So I am joined now by candidate and former governor of Arkansas, Asa Hutchinson, sir. Good to have you here.
Hey, good to be with you.
So we just got you mic'd up, got the IFB in your ear. You've been moving all around. This is a big day. You've been working up to this. There are 1,657 caucus sites. Have you staffed all those?
We have many of them where we have speakers, and we have others that we've got covered where they're making our presentation. So it's fairly organized. Now, that's a lot of precinct sites, and actually some of those will be combined in like where one speaker will be at 3 precincts and speaking. I'll be leaving here and headed out to caucus sites myself tonight.
Really?
Oh, yes.
To win people over the last minute.
Oh, absolutely. You know, I'm looking forward to speaking to them. I've never been to a caucus before, but we've gone through our training of our speakers and our precinct captains.
I asked you, are you tired? Because honestly, I've been here a few days. I am so tired. You've been doing this for over a year. How are you feeling?
You know, I'm feeling fine, and I pace myself in life and feel energized, excited about having the votes actually counted tonight. But, you know, I talked to voters today, and a couple of them might say, well, I don't think I'm going to get out for the caucus. And I'm saying, I've been doing this for a year. Get out and caucus.
You owe it to me. Okay. The weather strategy. Other candidates, they have these apps apparently that they know how many of their supporters have 4-wheel drive. They can go pick people up. What's your weather strategy?
Well, we have volunteers available whenever one of our supporters or anyone actually needs assistance. We will help them, and we'll identify support for them to get to the caucus or any other assistance they need. And so that's a resource that we make available. Everybody's got a different level of organization, but that's what we're doing. My day today was primarily on the phone, making calls to caucus goers and precinct captains, encouraging them, as well as going to diners here in Des Moines and getting last minute help. You're not a hard worker. Well, I hope so.
Ever question your work ethic? I think Serena Marshall, my colleague who typically covers the White House, is with us now. She has a question about young voters.
Okay.
Governor, thanks for joining us. You were recently at an event, a packed event, I read, more than 100 people, with a vast majority of them being younger voters. What is it that you think appeals to the younger generation about your message?
You know, it's hope for America. You know, one of the questions that a college student asked me was, you know, they look at the Republican Party and they don't like seeing grievance, they don't like seeing anger, and they said they're conservative, they want to have economic freedoms, but they don't like the direction of it now, so I encourage them. And so they want the same things we want to have, and they are loving what they see at the Iowa Caucus and the participation. And so I love talking to the college kids, the simple things of a limited role of government. They identify with that. Economic opportunity for everyone, that's what they want. Security for their families. These are Republican principles, and it's easy to talk to them about that.
One of the reports that I read said they called you old school, but I like it. And so is that a message you think you can take and gain some momentum as we go forward in this race?
Actually, that's sort of a message that I have tonight. The question media asked me, is there room in the Republican Party for a Reagan Republican? And my goodness, the answer has to be yes. You take those principles and you apply them to the future. It identifies with the youth. It is part of America, and so that's the case I make today in the vote. Showcase that there's room for a consistent conservative in the party.
Mr. Governor, you have experience when it comes to immigration and border and things like that. I have heard the border mentioned so often, and people might be surprised, but I came thinking I'm going to hear all about culture wars. People are bringing up the border all the time here. What do you make of that?
Well, because they see it every day on the news, and it's very personal to them. America's being invaded, and they are unbelievable that something's not being done. And that really plays to my strength, of course, as someone responsible for border security in the Bush administration. But it's a very real issue that they bring up. And you mentioned the cultural wars. That's important, but they don't see the president as, that's more of a community, a state issue. And you think about whenever some of the candidates started out as woke, it's woke, it's woke. In the debates we've had, it hasn't even been mentioned. in
Not
terms
much.
of that phraseology. And so it is the economy, it is border security. Some of them raise the issue of crime or division, but the top two are always the economy and border security.
Serena?
Yes, Governor, you've said in the past that you believe former President Trump has redefined the Republican Party, but, quote, not in a good way. We know a lot of the times as we move forward in this primary season, it's as folks either drop out or move on, they are vying for a place back in an administration or even the VP role. Is that something you would consider?
No, I mean, this is something I believe in. I have what it takes to lead this great country. And if that doesn't happen, I've got many options in life. And I want America to succeed. And so however I can help get that done, then that's where I will be. And it starts in Iowa, and your point's well taken. This is a long campaign. I need to get momentum out of Iowa. But then this is going to go into the spring, and the gathering storm clouds around Donald Trump will start to dump in the spring. And so we've got to be prepared, and you got to be in the race to showcase that there's options.
Mr. Governor, am I understanding you to say that, I know that 1% was not what you were hoping for in that final poll by Des Moines Register. No one's hoping for that.
Yeah.
If you come in thereabouts, or not in the top 3 or 4, would you drop out?
First of all, you evaluate every day, and I need a bump out of here, and I hope the media is realistic about this. In 2016, there were 7 candidates that participated in the New Hampshire debate after the Iowa Caucus.
How many?
7.
Wow.
7. And now they're trying to narrow it to 3. So, I think historically you've had at least 5 come out with strength and momentum as they went in New Hampshire. And so there's this artificial pressure to narrow the race, and that impacts the voting public. So I think you've got to look at, do you have momentum coming out here? Are you beating the expectations? There ought to be 3 storylines. Who's first? How close is second? And then who's beating expectations? And I should be a part of that.
And I guess, would you end up being what would it be, a candidate in name only? I heard you say if something happens to Donald Trump, would you just stay there in the background, not being so active, but you're just there? Is that what you're saying?
No, look, we want to succeed here. We want to get momentum coming out here. We're on the ballot in Texas. We're on the ballot in Colorado. So we're looking at a long time. And it's not just, does problems arise around Donald Trump? It's about the voting public and Republicans saying, we've got a challenge here. We need to look at new options for our future.
Mr. Governor, thank you so much.
Hey.
Best of luck tonight. I know you got to go. Thank you so much for making the time, and I hope you come back with us here on Scripps News.
Thank you.